Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Guys, we're already past halfway through 2023 and time flies so fast, but that's a subject for a different kind of video. So yesterday I was going through my collection, and looking at the fragrances that I have acquired since the start of 2023, and I realized that I have bought over 100 different fragrances since the start of the year. And yes, that number may seem crazy to some of you guys, but again, subject for another video. And I was thinking which of those 100 bottles I was actually enjoying the most since I've got them. And so I came up with this idea to do this video where I do a sort of a top 10 list of the fragrances that I have enjoyed the most and that I have acquired since the start of 2023. But I couldn't come up with only 10 fragrances. So in this video, I'm going to show you 13 fragrances in total that I have acquired since the start of 2023 and that I've enjoyed the most. So in this video, I'm going to show you a few different types of fragrances. There are going to be some Middle Eastern cheapy fragrances, some more expensive Middle Eastern fragrances. There are going to be some designer cheapies, high-end designer fragrances, and even one niche fragrance. And I'm going to start the list off, and this won't be a ranking, this will be a list where I show you all of those fragrances. The first one is from the house of Rosacea, and it's called the Rosacea Hawas. A pretty famous fragrance in the community, the daddy of Invictus Aqua, the same style of perfumery. You get that bubblegummy sweetness mixed with some marine notes, a bit of musky notes, very sweet, very long-lasting, hard-projecting fragrance that has a high complement factor and works really well in the warmer months of the year. I had to wait a while to get to find this one in stock online, but I was finally able to get this one. So the first fragrance for today, the Rosacea Hawas. The second Middle Eastern cheapie in this video is going to be another fragrance that I had to wait quite a while before I could get my hands on. And the fragrance in question is called the Insurrection 2 Wild from Ryan Tradition. As I said, again, another fragrance that I had to wait for quite a while before it came up, in stock online. But again, a famous fragrance in the community. This one being a clone or heavily inspired by a Pure Havane from Thierry Mugler. Now, I absolutely love the Pure Havane DNA, and I'm very glad that I was able to find this fragrance. And I was really glad that once I found it, that this in fact is quite close to Pure Havane. The third fragrance is from the house of Ajmal, and it's called the Evoke Midnight edition. What can I say about this fragrance? A blue fragrance, of course, looking at the bottle, you can pretty much guess that. It's fruity, it's spicy, it's very long lasting, very strong projecting, high complement factor with this one. Again, another great fragrance for warm weather, especially nighttime usage. I also love the bottle, and not the design itself, but the color. Looks really cool. As I said, great performance and very high complement factor. The fourth fragrance in this video is going to be from the house of Armaf, the Armaf Club de Nuit Iconic. Another great looking bottle because of the color combination, that blue and silver color. Blue is my favorite color. This fragrance, it's not exactly a clone of Bleu de Chanel EDP, but it's a very good alternative. Scent-wise, especially on the dry down, quite close to Bleu de Chanel. The opening is slightly different. You get a nice grapefruit mixed with some citruses. On the dry down, some oud, some spices, some sweetness. Unlike Bleu de Chanel, this thing has a very good performance. Projection is also very solid. The next two fragrances are going to be from Lattafa sub-brands. At number 5, the Maison Alhambra Kismet Angel. Another hyped up monster. This one probably your best alternative, cheap alternative to Kilian's Angel Share. Very, very close to the original fragrance. It has very nice booziness in here. Some sweet notes, perfectly unisex fragrance that has very good performance and very good projection. Great for cold weather usage. I had to wait quite a while for this one to come up on stock, because it was, again, as I said, it was quite hyped up, and bottles were selling out very quickly. But I'm glad that I was finally able to get my hands on a bottle of this one. At number 6, another Latafa sub brand, this one called Watania, and the fragrance in question is Watania Cayenne Classic. This fragrance, I saw a few reviews and videos online, and people were comparing this to Dior Homme Intense, saying that this was very close to Dior Homme Intense. I wasn't fully sold on that idea, but I put the trigger as soon as I found a bottle in stock, and I was very pleasantly surprised by the quality of this fragrance and the closeness of the scent inside here to the original Dior Homme Intense. There are a few small differences. This is slightly sweeter compared to Dior Homme Intense. The cacao vibe in here, that chocolatey cacao vibe in here, is a little bit stronger compared to the original fragrance, but all in all, it's super close. The quality of the scent is very high. There is no alcohol burst or anything in the opening of this fragrance. At number 7 and number 8 are going to be fragrances from the house of Offland, but the first one is going to be actually a Offland sub-brand, which is called Rue Broca, and the fragrance in question is called TRM. This is sort of a slightly different take on Bulgari's Tiger DNA, quite similar to another fragrance from Offland, which is called Turati Blue. This fragrance, compared to Turati Blue, doesn't have that super sweet grapefruit note in the opening. The grapefruit in here is slightly sweet, slightly fresh compared to Turati Blue, but other than that, this is a super fantastic fragrance that will get you close to Bulgari's Tiger original scent DNA. Performance here is great, almost a beast mode performance. I get 9 to 10 hours with a very good projection in the first 2 hours. Priced at number 8, the last Middle Eastern fragrance in this video is going to be from Offland themselves, and it's called the Tribute, or in some places you'll find this marketed as Tribute Blue. This is a very interesting fragrance. In fact, it's quite similar to a fragrance that I'm going to show you a little bit later in this video. It's fresh, at the same time it's woody, spicy, slightly sweet, quite ambery, very unique scent profile, a very versatile fragrance. This can pretty much work any time of the year, no problem at all. Warm, cold weather, hot weather, no problem. Performance here is fantastic, pretty much beast mode type of a fragrance with quite strong projection, and very safe for office usage as well. The next two fragrances are going to be designer chippies. At number 9, the first one is going to be from Ted Lapidus, and it's called Poker Face. Those who don't know, this is a let's call it a clone of YSL La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, it's slightly different. It has a bit of a twist in here. It's a bit sweeter compared to La Nuit de l'Homme, because there's an iris note in this fragrance, not very well known in the community. But scent-wise, this is super close to the original fragrance, being La Nuit de l'Homme. It's spicy, slightly sweet, slightly powdery on the dry down. As I said, slightly sweet compared to the original. Performance here is better than the current formulations of La Nuit de l'Homme. I get about 6, 7, up to 8 hours of performance with a soft projection in the first hour and a half, 2 hours. At number 10, another designer chippy that's heavily inspired by a more expensive designer fragrance, the Perry Ellis 360 Red. Now, this is a fragrance that, depending on who you ask, will tell you that this is a clone of Acqua di Gio, the original Acqua di Gio, or Acqua di Gio Profumo. Now, to my nose, this is somewhat in the middle between those two fragrances, maybe leaning a little bit to the original Acqua di Gio Profumo. It's a little bit sweeter compared to the original Acqua di Gio. Doesn't have that strong incense note like with the Profumo version. Performance here is quite good. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised by the performance of the 360 Red. I get about 7 to 8 hours of performance with quite a good projection in the first sort of hour and a half, which is quite a lot better compared to the Acqua di Gio. Moving on to a few high-end designer fragrances. The first one at number 11 from the house of Prada, the Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Now this is a gem of a fragrance that unfortunately has been discontinued, and it's quite hard to find nowadays, and prices have gone through the roof. Luckily enough, I was able to find a full bottle of this fragrance for a very reasonable price. Very interesting scent in here. It's sweet, warm, spicy, feels kind of fresh at the same time. To my nose, this brings a bit of a sort of a old school barber shoppy freshness to it. The scent profile of this fragrance is somewhat close to a fragrances like Tom Ford Noir, for example. Performance very good, projection let's call it solid. Number 12, another hard to find fragrance that's in this case not been yet discontinued, but because of the Dior's very strange selling policy, you know, this is sold only in Europe and only in selected markets. So I was lucky enough to find a bottle, to get my hands on a bottle of the Dior Homme original. Of course, this is the pretty much the original Dior Homme formula with the iris that made the note of iris so famous in men's perfumery. It's been slightly tweaked, of course, compared to the original release of this fragrance, which is what 15, 20 years ago. But still, nonetheless, you get that powdery iris with a touch of freshness. I absolutely love iris in fragrances. My probably my most favorite note when it comes to men's perfumery. And last but not least, at number 13, the only niche fragrance in this video from the house of Essential Perfumes, the Bois Imperial. Super interesting fragrance, unique scent profile. Now this thing, depending on maybe, I don't know, the mood of the people, the person who wears this can feel sometimes woody, sometimes fresh, sometimes a bit floral, a bit green, other times a bit sweet. Super interesting scent profile, very high quality scent in here. Performance beast mode, projection very strong for up to 3 hours, even longer. Super versatile. This thing can work in absolutely any kind of weather, safe for office usage, a compliment monster getting fragrance, and everything that I just already said for a great price. Now, Essential Perfumes are a niche fragrance house, but their pricing is very reasonable. So guys, in today's video I showed you a total of 13 fragrances that I have acquired since the start of the year and that I've enjoyed the most out of over 100 purchases so far. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, you know what to do. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future content. Stay safe, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.